first map, of course, is Olrena. And that is a very interesting map. Why is that, Mr. DrennoC?
Is
Why
a
is
very
Olrena so
interesting
cool?
map, not only because it emulates every single Lord of the Rings thought we've ever had, but because it does exactly that. And it's a pretty unique map. Obviously, right off the bat, you see on Olrena, you're like, cool, you got this bridge that's very close, you can get to your opponent quickly. But one thing that I see less talked about and not quite utilized right yet is the very far left-hand side, you have that gold base, obviously. You have the, what is it called, island gold base. And then on the very far right-hand side, you actually have a gold base and a place where you can go around. Now, obviously, it's quicker to go through the middle, but this map is really cool because you're kind of squeezed together. You're very close together. But as the game progresses, you get even closer because the rocks fall down in the middle. You can take more bases on the right-hand side. I feel like it's a really cool map just to show how much pressure a player can kind of handle before they break. And actually, there's strategy, obviously, in it, but it's a cool map to judge that.
Yeah, I've actually haven't seen pretty much anything happen on the far right side of Olrena ever. In any game I've played or casted, never see those bases do anything, no fighting over there. As a result of the really short rush distance, which can be blocked off. You know, if you're a pro player, you can just throw a pylon in there, bam, it's blocked off. And Zerglings won't have a lot of, surface area. But, despite that, it's still, that short rush distance provides a lot of short, scrappy, aggressive games that, can still occasionally move over into the mid to late game as well.
Generally, when I have seen it move on into that mid to late game is exactly that. Whether it be force fields or disruptors or lurkers doing stuff or ravagers, so much area control in Legacy of the Void, but just one player saying, you know what? I'm going to shut it down and get on into this mid to late game. And when I cast it with tempo, pardon me, when I cast it with tempo, he always talks about ninja bases, and I've never seen a ninja base on it, but apparently tempo sees a lot of ninja bases on Olrena.
I mean, it makes sense. That's probably a really great map. So, when you're looking for conditions for a ninja base, it's just sort of like, where is... You want areas in the map where no one goes, and Olrena, the far side of that, has a lot of those opportunities showing up for sure.
Definitely. Game one again is Olrena, and now we are back, guys. In the flip spawn positions, in the bottom left-hand corner, the blue Zerg player from Team Acer, it is PiLiPiLi. Hailing, of course, from the Ukraine, and his opponent in the top left-hand corner, the #1 Kazakhstani player, the red Protoss from Sidestorm Gaming, it is PiLiPiLi, who recently, kind of coolly enough, decided, you know what? I play a lot on stream, and people love my stream. He's got a very good following, but he wants to focus a little bit more on WCS, and maybe this is one step closer to that, one step closer in those tournament settings and conditions to really do some cool stuff. Obviously, as I was mentioning earlier, Olrena, you do have this bridge, and love to see some early aggression from PiLiPiLi. Sadly, he's going to be going hatch first at the moment, and save changes. I don't even know what's being said right here whenever you cast. It just kind of goes up and away. JaKaTaK, any thoughts so far? You've had a minute technically, and I don't know how long you needed when you said 15 seconds, but...
Yeah, so 17 hatch, 17 pool from the Zerg player. 16 gate, so this is the most common PvZ opener possible. Meanwhile, PiLiPiLi is a little bit upset about the additional, I think,
69 ping,
69 ping difference.
89. So
no, he gets 125 on Eastern, and he gets 189 on this server, so...
You can't go back at this point. He's already been a little bit too picky, so he can't quite do that, though. Ooh. Do see a quick third base by PiLiPiLi, and PiLiPiLi scouts it. Now, I guess we could see a big Ling flood a little later on, but with the bridge being so narrow, you can just force field. I feel like the only thing PiLiPiLi can do is prepare for that mid to late game in this situation, because there's so many easy ways for Protoss to kind of nullify the early aggression on this map.
Not so sure about that. We got 8 Lings coming in. Usually somewhere between 2 and 6 is the more defensive. 2 and sticks, pick up sticks and etc. Is the more defensive set. If you go up to 8, generally speaking, you're going to get a little bit more aggressive. But, I mean, that was, you know, mostly true for Heart of the Swarm. Now that we have the Adept in play, it may be a little bit more common, a little bit more useful here to go for the 8 links pretty much all the time. Orena, though, just opening up this early aggression for the Zerg. Nice and easy. The first Adept is being chrono boosted out. Second Adept, excuse me, is getting chrono boosted out. In the meantime, the first Adept is being attacked here by 4 links. 4 links take out a... Oh, God.
Oh, barely
4
gets
links
away.
take out a Zealot. They also take out an Adept. Same situation.
Sadly, not quite enough links to kill that Adept with the Mothership Core, and it will be a 2 Adept opener for PiLiPiLi, and something I'm really curious about, pardon me, sorry for that, if we saw PiLiPiLi not scout earlier on, how he would have reacted to this, because he does scout that 3rd base of Bly, he knows about it, and let's say he didn't see that 3rd base, it's not the most aggressive thing the Zerg can do early on, but that's still pretty aggressive if there was a lack of a 3rd base. I'm curious how this may play out in another game with no scouting from the Protoss. For now, the PiLiPiLi will be able to pick up some kills because the Queens are just too slow.
Yeah, nicely done with the Adepts, moving around, splitting off, getting a lot of scouting information as well. The creep spread already beginning for Bly here, and another consequence of that short rush distance is you can very quickly get creep spread toward your opponent. You get a lot more favorable engagements as a result. We do have the Robotech coming out first, followed by Twilight for our Protoss player here, and Roaches for the Zerg.
Depths are going to suicide back into this 3rd. They will pick up a total of 3 kills and possibly some more lings. A very nice move, though, from Bly is not pushing out too many more lings. Yes, he had about 6 right there, but that was just the safety amount of lings, and then relying off the Queens, not being too scared. And right off the bat from PiLiPiLi, when the Twilight Council finishes, he does start up that charge, and this is pretty much standard PiLiPiLi PvZ right here, Jack.
Yep, absolutely. He loves his Immortals. Charge as well. It's interesting, the Charge Lot Archon was a phase in Heart of the Swarm in TVP, but now we're seeing it instead in TVZ and Legacy of the Void. It's always good to see compositions that don't center around the Colossus. After 5 years of basically being forced to build a Colossus in every single matchup, no matter what, having other options is just beautiful, and it's great to see that diversity.
Bly just droning up that 3rd base, getting a solid drone count, and then it looks like he's just going to make a massive Roach push. Metabolic boost is just a few seconds away from Bly. He didn't have that earlier on, and he's just getting together for a huge push, and with the smallness of this map, he's going to be able to push across that ramp easily. I feel like it's more up to PiLiPiLi. Oh, PiLiPiLi's going to go for those back rocks, but PiLiPiLi, he needs to maybe not have a sentry, but have some vision on that ramp. He doesn't have any vision at all.
Yeah, meanwhile...
Not the ramp, the bridge.
For the, of Khazad-dûm, of course. Dark Shrine coming in, charge finishing up. This is going to trigger what looks like an attack, timed out with charge, basically.
But Bly with the surface of the map is going to make it kind of... Yeah.
Roach Ravager coming in. PiLi's out of position here. This may turn into a base race, or he may just turn around. No recall here. He's going to have to pay attention. Oh, the Mothership Core! The Mothership Core goes down! Only two overcharges were able to go off during that time. He's going to break through very easily here. In the meantime, we have a straight-up base race going on. Dark Shrine going to be a big factor as things go through.
PiLiPiLi decides it's much better an idea to actually engage on the other side of the map. Zealots are going to be able to kill just about everything. So many Zealots out for PiLiPiLi, and they will be able to maybe sack this base. DTs in the main are going to be here to defend, but 23 probes have already gone down, and as I was just going to say a little bit earlier, with the shortness of the map, in a larger map, you generally see, yes, the Protoss would be ahead at your base when you're like a third away across the map, but not on this base. Their attack and your attack would be timed out just about the same, and Bly, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold back at home, but it's almost like the perfectly timed out attack. We'll see if the DTs can change the tide of battle, though.
Well, the problem is the layer is non-existent, so the amount of detection on the map right now for Bly is none. Literally none. There are no Overseers on the map. There's no layer on the map. There's no Spore Crawler. 2 Spore Crawlers being made in desperation here. He really needs to be able to get those finished up if he wants any chance in this game.
16 workers to 16, it's darn even. 28 workers gone down, one side 24. Both players have inflicted huge amounts of damage, and surprisingly enough, Bly still has 2 hatches, though, while the entire natural base of PiLiPiLi has gone down, and now it's up to this one Spore Crawl. The DT is focusing it down! Anticlimactic win. I don't understand how Bly's going to do this. Yes, he can go for a base trade, but not when there's this many DTs. Oh, they actually focus them down. Oh, Spore farther back in that third base. That is the hero Spore right there, but desperately now Bly's got to be able to kill the Immortals in the high ground. He does.
That is the only Spore up on the map right now. Another one attempting to come in, holding this position here as well as possible. One Immortal goes down. That's a big damage dealer in this kind of a position. Nicely warped in here, but he's going to lose the Warp Prism as a result, and that is going to be super tough. What a strange position we have ourselves in. The spawning pool wasn't taken out, but the Roach Warren was. So at this point, the only thing, as far as reinforcements are concerned from Bly, that can come in are Zerglings. Morphing in Zerglings right now, but at this point, there's no army left.
Even with those Spores against the DTs, the Zealots were too much, and GG. PiLiPiLi is now up 3 games to Bly in the total score over a very long period of time. And wow, that was really interesting. Something I'd like to note on a little bit, as I was trying to allude to, is when PiLiPiLi moved out, he was delayed by the rocks a little bit, which you wouldn't see on in a normal map, but also the size of that map is not normal. Yet at the same time, with a slight delay in rocks and the shortness of the map, Bly's timing attack hit about the same time, and I'm really intrigued by that fact, how you can kind of both trade off at the same time for that in the Roach Ling, even though Bly went for 3 bases.
Yeah, well, I think it was interesting. PiLi didn't have any scouting information on the bridge, wasn't holding the watchtower, and didn't have any units there to check for any sort of counterattack that might be coming in. So he was blind at that point in time, and he had to make the snap call as those Roach Ravagers came into his base. Is this a base race, or should I return home? The main thing, though, I think one of the biggest things is the Mothership Core was a little bit far forward, out in the open, got sniped down almost right away. You can absolutely, it is physically possible to dodge pretty much every single Ravager shot with that Mothership Core. It's fast enough. Actually, almost everything is fast enough. But really, really hard to do when you're not paying attention to that. He went in, he got a couple of photon overcharges, but when that happened, the Mothership Core stayed still to cast those spells, and that was the exact timing that Bly laid out to nail those in place.
There's always those split couple seconds when the engagement first happens at your base and you're halfway across and you maybe don't freeze, but it's okay, what is my decision? And within that time of what his decision was, as you said, Mama Court goes down, no photon overcharges at home, wasn't able to do that, but DTs, man, and I feel like that was pretty much it to defend at home. He had the DTs. The aggression of Bly was secure without it. My bad. PiLiPiLi. The aggression was phenomenal. Zealots with charge just direct things still, even with that slight nerf through the beta. But the DTs were able to hold back at home without losing that. And Bly, kind of funnily enough, didn't lose his third base, which is a great move by PiLiPiLi. He understood he killed the workers and then moved to the natural. But I feel like if PiLiPiLi would have killed the third, and then move to the natural, they'd have had a much easier time working kind of about that.
Yeah, it was interesting, actually. Bly, for a split second, started moving part of his road